Good morning, and welcome to another episode of the Here and Now videocast. On this special episode, I have Venetia Reddy, and Venetia is aspiring, young, driven, charismatic philanthropist lady who's got so much drive and ambition. It's going to be a great videocast, and thank you for being here, Venetia. Just letting everyone know it's our second attempt at this because we had technical difficulties yesterday. It was fun, but it wasn't successful. So we're going to make a better attempt at this one. I appreciate you being here and giving me time again. And I'll hand over to you to give us an introduction to who you are.
Thank you so much for having me again. It's really such a pleasure to be here talking to you. I'm from South Africa, a small town here, and I was born and raised here. And just about me, I love learning, and I founded a company here, which is a private company in South Africa. It's called Reef today. And one of my passions is just dedicating my time to it and building it and working with different types of people. I love that.
And Venetia, how did the story start? So how did you get to this stage in your life? Like, what was like growing up in South Africa, and how did it lead you to be so driven and have such an inspiration for entrepreneurship and helping?
Right. So to be completely honest with you, I didn't think of myself as an entrepreneur, although I have grown up in a family of entrepreneur-minded people. My dad, my brother, and they're great businessmen, and so I think, birds of feather flock together. So I kind of just started in that, but it didn't start there. When I left high school, I started studying towards my law degree, and I moved from various jobs before I started my company, and somehow all the challenges along the way whilst moving from job to job and trying to kind of find my feet after high school sort of led me to this place. But I think so many things contributed to that, like my upbringing here. I grew
What was
up,
that like? What was the upbringing like for you?
my upbringing. So I grew up in a very family orientated home, community based. My parents were really great leaders in our specific community. Sorry.
It just adds to the
Sorry.
technical difficulties we've been having.
Yeah.
It's really okay.
Okay, wait. Let me just sort this out quickly. Um, you can cut this out, right?
No cutting out. It's part of the flow. It's all good.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry. Where was I again?
So you're talking about your
My upbringing. My
yes,
upbringing.
yes.
Right. So yeah, with my upbringing, I grew up in a community-based home. My parents were leaders in a church that was filled with like maybe uh, anywhere between 500 and 800 people.
It's incredible.
And yeah, and so my mom always encouraged me to try out new things, be a person of just be a person that just got out there and did things, tried everything really. And so one of the things I did end up trying was singing. And for a long time I did that, and I was like in the music field. I was singing on stage in the choir, moved on to 16, and I actually released an album. And from there I did a couple of like live shows, television shows, even here in South Africa. And yeah, and I guess that contributed to just me being confident in who I am. also just strengthening my values as well. The community here was just very warm and just, it was very diverse. And so I was exposed to a lot of different kinds of people that contributed to who I am today.
And Venetia, what would I hear you talk about the music industry? What got you off that journey? Because usually that's a journey people stay on for as long as possible, right? I
Yeah,
assume you made a choice to to change direction.
that's right. I did actually. It wasn't. It somehow just happened. I didn't. There wasn't a specific point where I just decided, you know what, I'm not doing this anymore. I just sort of stopped doing it.
Okay.
I think that comes with age. My passions changed. My passions changed. I didn't really want to be on a stage anymore. Also, the type of music I was doing was very specific. It was gospel worship.
Mhm.
And although I loved it in that phase of my life very much, as I started getting exposed to different things, like when I started studying law, um, and also when I started moving from when I started working and moving into the workspace, I found myself developing other interests
Okay.
and you know a different type of purpose, a way to actually find my feet, find myself. Yeah.
Okay. And do you have any regrets about changing direction from the music industry to what you're doing now?
Not at all. I mean, as it is, it's so funny. I feel like every part of your life contributes to where you're heading. And
Beautiful.
although I'm not in it right now, I work with a few musicians, some great people in my current business, and um, I have a little bit of background on, how to sort of help them move forward in their career because I've had a little bit of experience in it.
Yeah.
So no regrets. I just feel like uh, you know there's different stages of your life. I mean, I might return to it at some stage.
Hmm.
I still love music. I still like love singing, but it's just that my passions are so different right now. It's completely different place.
Okay. And talking about passions, what is your passion right now?
Right. I think my biggest passion is just living well, being in a space that's happy, being in a place that you're happy, and from that place of happiness and overflow, you can help other people. My
Mhm.
passion is really helping other people and promoting people that want to make a difference. I want to make a difference, even if it's just one person or 10 or 1,000. It it is just helping people and making sure people reach their potential, and we can sort of create a cultivating community. Really, that's my
Mhm.
passion
Mhm.
right now. Cultivating community, and I just feel like people have so many different gifts and things to offer in this world, and exploring that and really appreciating that is one of my passions. I don't know if that's a passion, but
No, it is. It is. And I think it's a passion for the greater good of humanity because you're doing something bigger than you, right?
you're right. You're right. Yeah,
And I feel the way the world is going now, that is more beautiful than ever because we need this more now than ever when we're seeing so much fear, divide and conquer.
you're right.
Hearing you gives me chills, because it's so beautiful. It's resonating so strongly. Um, I had a question for you that was in line with this, and now because we've gone deep into it, I kind of got derailed myself. Um, how your this value, this purpose, this passion, where does it stem from? Because this is powerful, Venetia. Do you see it like that? Do you appreciate it that way?
That's and actually that's a tough question because I don't see it that way because I'm just so I don't see it like that. I just see it as me serving, me serving for the greater good to just help make the world a better place. you know. I definitely think that some of that stems from my childhood,
Mhm,
and
mhm.
um, also studying towards like being in the legal industry as well. I mean, the whole purpose of it is to find a sense of justice in the world,
Yeah.
and um, it's just it's being a person that wants to see the greater good fulfilled in the world around us. But yeah, my childhood does play a big role in it, because I was brought up with very strong leaders. My dad, my grandfather, my um, other people in my life that were in the church community, that were really people with great ideas, people that led led groups of people that into fulfilling their purpose. And I think that that sort of rubbed off on me.
And Venetia, I, I don't want to say you're fortunate because even I feel that your values are you, and it's great that you had. I mean, I think it's so admirable that you have these wonderful people around you, but you still had to make choices to choose this path, right? It's not a given that you had such influence around you. You
100%.
you have to make those choices to go this way.
Right. It wasn't always like this. I'm at a place right now where I can see that the people in my life, all the very important ones, played a role. But there was a period in my life, especially in, from 2016 to like 2017, between those years, 2015 to 2017, that I had some really challenging times, that I was forced to make a decision. Because sometimes, even if you grow up in a really wonderful environment, there's plenty of influences out there,
Absolutely, absolutely.
and moving into especially the work environment, where I wasn't now with my amazing leaders or my amazing mentors.
Hmm.
I was out there by myself, and that did play a role. But I can confidently say that I'm grateful, because I felt like there was something looking out for me, you know. Um, yeah, like I said, I mean, you know, we all face challenges, but there was a time where I had to make a decision, and it wasn't the easiest of decisions. There was a lot of sacrifices I had to make, choices that I had to make to bring me to this point of peace and clarity at this stage in my life.
And drawing on that experience and that moment that was so pivotal for you, for anybody who isn't so fortunate to have the environment you had, that
Yeah.
obviously made it easier to make that choice. I can't take that away, right? Because without that, you might not have been so strong to make that decision. But for anybody who might not have that, what would you say for you was a quality or a value that you could look back on and think, I'm glad I had this and this was me? Do you understand the question?
Yeah, yeah. You know, honesty, being honest with
Yes.
yourself about what you want, the absolute truth about what it is that you want, because sometimes we get sidelined
Mhm,
by the outside influences, and we tend to get off track a bit. But the important thing to remember is to ask yourself, is this bringing me peace? Is this bringing me a sense of joy? And if not, to reevaluate
mhm,
why.
mhm,
Um, I mean, I can share. I didn't grow up in the best of environment. My parents were very, although they had made choices to bring us and our family into a place of into a good grounding, and create a good foundation for me and my brother. When I was very little, I mean, we were in a it, we were in a place that, I mean, the water would break through. We weren't like super wealthy or anything at that stage, but even my parents had to make choices, and it was sort of a process, because where they came from, they were just they didn't live in a sense of wealth or in a sense of a good surrounding or anything. It was really, it took work, it took commitment between them. And then I think from their example, I definitely learned, how to be honest with myself and how to um, cultivate a sense of commitment to my peace and to building a strong foundation for myself as well. When I was the game changer for me was when in 20 around about 2017 to 2018 was when I got pretty sick. I was battling with some health issues, and I was basically living a very okayish life. I was in my full-time job, working 9 to 5. Still sort of, I enjoyed it. We had a very great workspace, work environment, and I was working from Monday to Saturday, nonstop. And then I started suffering with like health issues, and I couldn't actually. I had to take like 3 months off from work. I couldn't go in because I couldn't walk at all. And just those moments of lying in bed and just it really humbled me. It humbled me because sometimes you think that you have everything going for you, and you don't pay attention to the things that ground you. And I think that's why I always focus on, if something can be given to you, it can be taken away from you just as fast. And just that concept is really grounding and humbling.
Venetia, may I ask you, I hope it's not too sensitive, and if it is, you just let me know. What was the breaking point? What was the reason for that moment when your health took a turn for the worse to the point where you had to take time off? Was there something, an outside pressure or overworking?
I don't know what caused it, to
Hmm.
be honest with you. And I mean, I had visited several like surgeons. They couldn't tell me what the issue was either. And I was just in the space like, will I ever come out of this? But I held on to hope. I held on to hope, and just the hope that things are not going to stay like this forever.
Hmm.
And in that time, I refused to like get depressed, because I mean, I was on antibiotics almost every single month, like full set every single
Wow.
month for about a year. And I'm not sure if that was linked to like a state of depression or a state of stress. It wasn't determined or anything. But during that time, I reinvented myself. I decided that I was going to build something for myself, to promote wellness, to promote wealth, health,
Hmm.
and all of these good things in life that we sometimes overlook. And I decided that I was going to do it by promoting brands that did that, because obviously nothing can be done alone,
Hmm.
and that's why
Hmm.
I love the vision of my company so much, because it was built in a time that was really one of the lowest points in my life so far.
Wow.
and and I mean, even with seeing some of the doctors, I mean, uh, there was just some type of that there was an actual doctor that had caused the problem for me.
Oh, wow.
And I mean, I wasn't 100% sure about that, but I, you know, even with that, I wanted to make sure that people could go to a community where there was trusted services, trusted products, trusted people, to handle them with care, because there's so many things out there. And to really just promote people that have a vision for the future is just my passion. So yeah, I hope that answered your last question.
Beautifully, beautifully. Thank you so much. You're being very vulnerable and brave. I appreciate it very much. Thank you. Um, so, Venetia, what's your vision for the future?
um, so my vision for the future is definitely to help as many people as possible for as long as I can. Make sure that people find a sense of true peace, because there's so much that the world has to offer.
Mhm.
It's so much more than what we see, and sometimes just going out into nature for me and just seeing the creation out there is refreshing, because it's just a reflection of so many things we experience as humans. Nature is one of my favorite places to actually understand life. I mean, I always say that, like, um, the trees and all of these type of things teach us patience, and patience is one of the things I've seen throughout my life. If you are patient enough, things eventually come together. Patient with yourself, patient with others. It's a virtue that cannot be taken for granted.
Mhm.
And so often we want to rush things in life because we're like, I'm not where I see myself, you know. But especially when I wasn't well physically, it taught me to be patient. It taught me to endurance, to stay
Mhm.
persistent, stay hopeful no matter what the circumstances are, because things things work together for the good
Mhm.
for those who are patient.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that's part of my vision.
And just maybe to tie this in our beautiful 20 minutes yesterday, which I thought was so captivating. I'm so
Yeah.
sorry that our technical difficulties made us stop. But you spoke about humility,
Right.
and I feel it in you even now. And I hope you don't mind me bringing it back into our conversation now, because the way you spoke about it yesterday and the way feeling you yesterday, today. We only know each other a short time. For anybody watching this, our relationship is very small, but
Right.
I feel it deeply in you. Are you okay with just giving us a little bit more, if you can reflect on what came up yesterday and humility and you?
Yeah. Humility, being able to understand that we are here to serve each other, and no matter the position, no matter the title, we are all accountable to each other. We all have to answer to someone. Whether you're a CEO, whether you're running a company, you're still answering to many people. It's not like, I've reached a certain point in my life and I have no one to answer to. And because the world is the way it is, it just it promotes humility, because when we understand that we are here to serve each other, it grounds us.
Mhm.
And me coming from a family of leaders who have uh, promoted serving, who have led with a servant attitude, um, it's always been about just cultivating humility and understanding that we're a community and we're in this together, and
Mhm.
that no man is better than the next. We are here to help each other grow and to be patient with each other's growth. So
Okay.
I I definitely believe in that. It definitely humbles me every time I think about the fact that, you know, we're just here. We're here to serve each other and just to help each other. Nothing more.
And thank you. What how do you inspire yourself? How do you keep you going? Because you're giving out a lot of energy. How do you
Yeah.
keep replenishing? How do you replenish yourself?
Solitude.
I love that one. Me too. It's my
You know,
favorite. Yes.
it's definitely that, because I have to take time for myself. I have to, like I said, go out into nature, do something that inspires me, whether it's dancing, singing also plays an important role in that, just having some time to just do something creative, painting, writing, um, expressing my emotions, journaling, um, being in a very meditative state, just getting away from all the distractions, switching off for a period of time, and really sort of bring a sense of focus into the picture.
Mhm.
Just, even if it's just sitting down, doing absolutely nothing, and just thinking about thinking about what what you want to bring forth into the world, you know. um, I think something that's been really important for me is to set out my intention for every single day, so that I start my day with that specific intention of,
Right.
you know, why am I here? Why am I doing what I'm doing? You know, because if I don't set that intention right off at the start of the day, then I kind of go through my day a little bit unfocused, and I can't really serve anyone to the best of my ability. Especially being in a role where I have to work with a lot of people, I have to center and ground myself, to not operate on my emotions, but rather provide stability for the people that I work with.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
to bring that sense of stability, I have to stable myself, ground myself, and remember why I do what I do.
Great. Great. Um, and what would you say? I don't even know your age. I'm not going to ask you on screen, but what would you say to your younger self?
Oh, I'm still quite young, but if I was gonna tell my younger self something, I would definitely say there's nothing wrong with saying no. There's nothing wrong with with saying no. Say no a little bit more often to things that don't serve your growth.
So great. So great.
It's I think when I was a bit younger, you know, we're so often trying to please everyone around us because we're growing up, and we're not attentive to our own growth, which is just as important to be um, to be a vessel of light and growth for someone else, you know. So definitely to say no to anything that doesn't serve you, and to not feel guilty about that. That it's okay to say no, and to set a boundary. It you avoid hurting yourself, and you avoid hurting anyone else. So if you know that something creates doubt in your soul, rather say no than say yes and create a whole trail of
Absolutely. Absolutely.
mess.
I resonate with that fully. So
Yeah.
great. What would you say to your future self?
Gee, that's a tough one. But peace is a priority. To remind myself that peace is a priority, and do the best that you can for as long as you can for as many people as you can.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. You know, I think that as it stands right now, um, you know, even going back to me being on a stage, and me being who I am now, which is more of like a background role, in any position in life, wherever you are, the biggest thing that you can do for yourself that will make you and others happy is to always just serve, help where you can, you know, and do it for as long as you can, because we're only here for a short period of time. It's not a long time, and make it count, you know. It's too much work to hold on to any grudges, to hold on to unforgiveness, or to be an unforgiving person, or to hold anyone to an expectation that is not birthed out of love, you know. So
That's so powerful.
I would just say,
So.
just love. If you have the ability to do that, choose that. That's what
I feel we all have it. I mean, we're born with it.
right.
You know, what did
Yeah,
Nelson Mandela say? We're all built to love, and we're taught to hate. So if we're taught to hate, we can be taught to love, right? Something like
absolutely.
that. Not verbatim, but it's on those lines, right?
Yeah. One of my favorite heroes.
He was exceptional. He was exceptional.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Venetia, you're really inspiring. I'm not saying that because you're on camera, and I'll probably say this again when we're off camera, because I've known you for a few seconds as far as lifetimes go, and I'm really amazed by what you're bringing and what your vision is for humanity. I really think it's admirable, and I'd love to support you in any way I can on this journey of yours.
Thank you
What
so.
sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah, go on.
Um, what's your source of what do you what's here now for you? What's your next step on your journey?
So right now I'm just really committed to building my business, and expanding. There's just so much to it. It's never ending. It's a never ending process of learning, and just, there's just I don't know enough yet, and I don't think I ever will. But there's just always something that I'm learning, and so to stay on that journey of just learning how to better myself, how to improve the environment around me, and to explore the world around me,
Mhm.
and just sort of push my vision through my business and brand at this stage. That's what I'm committed to working on right now, and I'm just really excited to see what the future holds. So that's that's what it is right now.
And what's your superpower?
My superpower.
Oh, I love how the chest came out and the shoulders back. You're ready for battle.
um wow. um I really need to think about that one. I would possibly say it's in bringing people together. I have a really great way of working with anyone and everyone. I'm quite adaptable. Let's just say that. I'm very adaptable, and because I was brought up in such a diverse community, um, and there's so many people I haven't met yet, but I really definitely have this ability to communicate well with anyone and everyone. And just I always tell myself, everybody is a somebody, and to make people feel that way is one of the things I love doing, is to make everyone know that, you know what, you have potential, you have the ability to change the world,
Mhm.
you know. And I would say that that's my superpower. I love making people feel happy.
That's so great.
Yeah, or feeling like they can achieve anything.
That's so beautiful. And what advice would you give to anybody, either going through the difficulty you went through, not specifically, but going through a difficult time, being where you are now? What could you give to them? Any young people, anybody, it doesn't matter about age.
um I would say, uh take your time. you know Healing is a process, from anything, because sometimes I know Steve Jobs said this, life throws a brick in your face, but don't give up. Always always know that the dots eventually connect. They do. The reason we go through things in life is because it's preparing us for something better and bigger to come.
Yeah.
So to stay patient, and to stay hopeful, and to keep the faith, and to trust in something, to trust that there is a future for you and that there is a purpose, even if you might not see it.
Well,
Yeah.
you're so great. The questions keep coming. I'm like, okay, slow down, let us speak. It's like, but I don't want to keep us too long.
Yeah.
I don't even know what time it is, but it feels like it's been a short time. I'm sure we've been here for a while.
Yeah.
Um, I want to thank you so much, and I want to say that what you're bringing is what the world needs right now, especially in these times where everybody is so shaken. So this purpose of yours is very admirable. I'm so impressed and inspired, and and really moved. And I thank you for being you and for what you're bringing. Um, it's a beautiful journey you're on and what you're trying to do.
Thank you
So,
so much. I really appreciate that, and I'm definitely hoping that I can, for as long as I can, bring value to everyone and anyone I meet or come across on my path. I think I said this before yesterday, but every single person that we meet has something that we don't,
mhm,
and I'm sure you've heard the quote before, but it's so true, and it's up to us to find that gold, to tap into it. So often we can look for the negative, or we can see the negative, or but it's just, we all have flaws. Instead, be the person that looks for the gold in
mhm,
others,
mhm.
and support that, because um, we all need each other.
So,
Yep.
so great. Do you have any final message to say?
No, that was my final
you,
message.
you you gave so much. I'm feeling your energy coming. I'm feeling inspired.
I'm so happy to hear that.
It's so great. I want to thank you with a big, big open heart again. And when we meet one day, I owe you a big hug for being so amazing and bringing so much value to the world.
Yeah,
Yeah.
hopefully I'll be able to come and visit Luxembourg soon, because I have some
Hey,
wonderful friends there now.
great, great. It's Lana as well, isn't it?
Lana,
Yes, our friend in common. Yes, yes,
amazing, amazing.
yes, yes.
Yes.
So thank you very much for
Thank
your
you so much.
time, for you. And
Yes,
yeah, I wish you the best on your journey, and you're going to do great things.
thank you so much. I love talking to you.
Me too. Thank you, Venetia.
Thank you.